window. Okay, right. Let's take care about in completing or understanding this particular respective API testing. I mean, we need to begin understand that what exactly mean by this particular respective API testing, how exactly we can take care about in implementing this particular API testing. In that, the very first understanding, if I'm taking with this particular API, what is the full form of API? What is that? Application Programming Interface. So if I'm taking with this particular API, we can mention the application programming interface. I mean, we need to be get mentioned out working as an interface between two different applications here. If I'm taking this particular API, which is working as a interface between two different applications. So while working this particular API testing, mainly we need to be get take care about to test that request has been correct and then response has been correct. I mean, as part of the concept of API testing, we have to take care about sending with the request and then getting with the response. That particular request and response has been correct or not, which need to be get tested. So how we can do that particular API testing? What exactly that particular respective steps need to be get followed, that will look into that. But before going to that, before going to that, we need to be get comfortable. We need to be get comfortable in understanding what exactly mean by this particular API concept came into the picture. I mean, in this current market, in this particular current market, why we need to go with this particular different types of testing. Previously, we got take care about functional testing. As part of that particular functional testing, we are able in doing all the testing activities. Nothing but we are able to write the scenarios, able to write the test cases. We are taking care about in performing different kind of activities. Then why this particular API testing came into the picture or other testing came into the picture? As simple, we need to be get understood why we need to take care about in doing different types of testing. Let's understand on that. That is what we need to be get take care about in understanding the concept of software architecture. What is it? Software architecture. We have to care about, we need to take care about in understanding the concept of software architecture. If I'm taking with this particular software, it can be designed or it can be developed by having with different type of architecture. In the one we need to be get mentioned that one tier architecture and then taking with two tier architecture and then mentioning the three tier architecture and then taking with entire architecture. So if I'm taking this particular respective software architecture, we can say that one tier architecture and we can mention that two tier and then taking with three tier and considering the enter. What exactly mean by these particular things? Let's understand in a very detailed of all these particular concepts here. In that, let's consider taking with three-tier architecture. If I'm just considering that in taking with three-tier architecture, I mean in that we need to begin mentioning that considering the browser in one particular system, you will be taking with browser. Another system, you will be taking with server. One you will be taking with browser. Another one, it will be taking with server. In the same way, one more, you will be taking with database. I mean, in simple, we can consider that the three system. One system, browser, in another system, server, in another system, database. Now, the communication between browser and server and database. The communication between browser and then server and then database. We can consider the three-tier architecture. What is it? Three-tier architecture. So simple. If I'm taking with the communication between browser and then server and then database, we can consider the three-tier architecture. As simple, the best example, you can consider that our HRMS application or LinkedIn application, Gmail application, Flipkart, any of these things in our local system, you are just taking care about. In the local system, you are just taking care about in open with browser and then taking care about in entering with URL. In your local system, you are taking care about in entering with URL in browser. That URL from the internet, that particular URL from the internet. That means considering that through HTTP or considering that HTTPS. Nothing but by taking URL from the internet, it has been communicating with that particular respective server. From the server, the same internet communicating with database. That is the reason if you just look into your Gmail application without internet, can we use the Gmail? Without internet, are you able to access HRMS application? No, because all these particular applications are designed as three-tier architecture. In your local system, you are taking with browser. That particular browser need to be get communicating with server. That particular server need to be get communicating with database. Browser is totally different system. Server, totally different system. And then database, totally different system. There is no connectivity between physical. I mean, it's not like these three particular systems are got connected. It has been connected, but it has been done with the help of internet. From the internet, all these particular systems has been connected. I mean, if you are taking with your laptop, in your laptop, you guys has been entering with your application URL. As an example, in my laptop, I'm just entering with the HRMS URL. It has been communicating to the Naresh IT server, which is available in another building. So that Naresh IT server is available in the different place. But by having internet, with the help of internet, we are able to get communicate that particular Naresh IT server. That particular server system communicating with one more system, whereas we got maintained with database here. So now the whole concept, the conclusion is in a simple way of understanding the communication between browser and server and database. Consider as three-tier architecture. So if I'm taking with the three-tier architecture, what is the meaning of three-tier architecture? Communication between browser, server, and database. Consider as three-tier architecture. In the same way, before three-tier architecture, we got two-tier. I mean, the two systems here, one system working as client, another system working as server. In the server system only, database also got maintained. In the server system only, database got maintained. In simple, we can say that the two systems, one system client, another system server, communication between client and server, the communication between client and server, considering the two-tier architecture. What is it? Two-tier architecture. The communication between client and server, considering the two-tier architecture. If I'm taking with that particular two-tier in the server system only, database also got maintained. In simple, we can say that communication between client and server, Consider as two-tier architecture. So meaning of two-tier architecture, communication between client and server. Okay. In the same way, it will be taking with one individual system. It will be taking with the one individual system. In one system, we can take care about maintaining all the things here. As simple, all the things in one system. All the things in one system. The browser, server, database, all the things in one system, considering the one-tier architecture. The meaning of one-tier architecture. The meaning of one-tier architecture. We can say that all the things in one system. All the things in one system, considering that one-tier architecture here. So if I'm taking with one-tier architecture, meaning of one-tier, all the things in one system. We need to take care about all the things in one system. What do we consider? One-tier architecture. So this is what we need to take care about: one-tier architecture, two-tier architecture, and then three-tier architecture. So what is the meaning of one-tier architecture? All the things in one system. Meaning of two-tier? Communication between client and server. Meaning of three-tier? Communication between browser, server, and database. This is our regular understanding. I mean, the common terminology, the regular terminology. If I'm taking with this particular architecture, the regular terminology, we are saying that browser and then server and then database. The same thing in technical. The same thing if I'm taking with technical, say that. The technical terminology. The same thing if I'm taking with the technical terminology. This particular browser, we can mention that, we can consider the application layer. Rather than calling as a browser, rather than saying that browser, we can mention the application layer. Browser, regular terminology. The technical terminology, we can say that application layer. In the same way, this particular server, if I'm taking with this particular server, we can consider that business or logic layer. If I'm taking with this particular server, we can consider that business layer, or we can call as logic layer. In the same way, if I'm taking with database, which we can consider that taking with database layer. So if we just consider the technical terminology. The technical terminology, we got application layer and then business layer or logic layer and another one database layer. Now, as simple, the communication between the communication between this application layer and then business layer and database layer. The communication between application layer, business layer and database layer consider as three-tier architecture. We can consider the three-tier architecture. In the same way, the communication between application layer and business layer. The communication between application layer and business layer consider as two-tier architecture. The database layer also maintained in the server system. Nothing but the business layer and database layer combined together. So the communication between application layer and business layer, we can say that two-tier architecture. As usual, all the layers in one system consider as what is it? One-tier architecture. So if I'm taking with these particular technical terminologies, we mentioned that application layer, business layer, and then database layer. How many layers we got? How many? 3 layers. So if I'm taking with this particular technical terminology, 3 layers. Originally, how many layers you will get? Anyone CSC branch, network systems. How many? 7. 7 layers will be there. Originally, we got 7 layers are there. In that 7 layers, mainly will take application layer and then business layer and then database layer. Now, for taking with these particular things as simple, if we go with example, we mention like the communication between browser, server, database. Consider as what is it? Three-tier architecture. Example for three-tier architecture. Example for three-tier architecture. Yeah. HRMS application. Your HRMS application, adaptation application, Gmail, Flipkart, Amazon, all these things we can consider as three-tier architecture because in your local system, in your laptop, you got entering with URL. That URL communicating to the respective server. That particular server communicating the respective database. So maximum of the current applications, we can consider the three-tier architecture. In the same way, you got two-tier. Meaning of two-tier? Communication between client and server. Example for two-tier? tutor. Google is not tutor. uh, the example for tutor architecture, best example in your colleges having the computer lab. That computer lab, you can cross check that all individual systems will be connected with one system. All the individual systems got connected with one system. We used to be called as server. All individual system, client, and the main system, server. In the same system, the database also will get maintained. That particular computer lab working with based on intranet, not internet. It will work with intranet. I mean, the application you can access only in that particular computer systems, that lab system, not outside of that particular college network. So that will be considered tutor architecture. Otherwise, the best example you guys has been very well knowing about supermarkets, billing system. How many systems will be there? Uh, in the supermarkets, how many systems will be there? Uh, that 3 to 4 systems will be there. That 3 to 4 billing counters will be there. You can cross check that particular billing counters, the software, what they have been using, that cannot be accessible in apart from that laptop or that system. Apart from that system, outside of their network, you can't access their particular software here. So those softwares are, you can understand like two-tier architecture. All 3 billing counters or 4 billing counters will be connected with one main server. That will be considering the two-tier architecture, considering the client and then taking with server. In the same way, it will be taking with one-tier architecture. Example, in your own system, what are applications? In your laptop, Word file, Word file. You are opening the Word file in your laptop. You are typing the data in your laptop. You are saving the file in your laptop. All the things in your laptop only. Otherwise, your best understanding, Eclipse. Eclipse installed in your laptop or server? In your laptop. You got installed in your laptop. You got to open Eclipse in your laptop, writing the program in your laptop and saving the program in the same laptop. So I mean, all the things in one system. Consider us, what is it? One-tier architecture. This is what the conclusion of one-tier, two-tier, three-tier. Meaning of one-tier, all the things in one system. Meaning of two-tier, communication between client and server. Meaning of three-tier, communication between browser, server, and database. Consider us, what is it? Three-tier architecture. In the same way, you have entire architecture. The meaning of entire, the meaning of entire architecture, connectivity of third-party applications, connectivity of third party application. These three will be there. Browser, server, database. These three will be there. But along with these three, it can connect with different third party applications. I mean, it's not like any restrictions. According to the requirement, it can take care about in connecting with any kind of other applications. The best example of entire architecture. Entire architecture, best examples. All applications, you can consider your whole application, tomato application, Swiggy application, or your phone pay, Google Pay, Paytm. If we consider phone pay, whenever you are working with the phone pay, is that phone pay or Google Pay? These are working for only for one particular bank. Is that it will work for only one bank? No, you can register with any bank account, any bank. You can do the transactions here. You can considering like entire architecture here. So this is how the concept of architecture has been came into the IT industry. In a very starting days, there is no internet. At that particular time, everything is one-tier architecture here. Slowly, the net has been came into the picture. It has been working with two-tier architecture, considering that intranet. The two-tier architecture is intranet. After that, internet has been came into the picture. Then your three-tier concept has been came. Then the IT market has been started increasing. Once internet has been came into the picture, three-tier has been introduced. The IT has been increasing. After that, your API concept has been came into the picture. Nothing but entire architecture. If we just consider with PhonePe, whenever you are considering the PhonePe company, is that PhonePe originally, are they considered as a banks? If we take the PhonePe, are they originally considered as a bank? No. Those people are third party. They develop one third party application and then they communicated, they registering with all the banks by having one interface, by taking with one API. No way of connectivity with sharing the original data. The bank people, they can't give the original data. So that original data connecting with one API, that API connecting with this PhonePe and taking care about all the business. Once entire architecture has been came into the picture, lot of new business has been introduced into the market here. This is how the software or architecture or IT business has been started. Up to this, perfectly okay. But what about our testing activity? Before taking with the testing activity, let's understand in the development wise. If I'm taking with development activity, let's consider three-tier architecture. If I'm taking with this particular three-tier architecture, if I'm taking with this particular three-tier architecture, now development team, they need to design application layer. Development team has to take care about developing or designing application layer. So who will take care about in designing this application layer. That is what you may heard about considering that UI developer. What about it? UI developer. If I'm taking with that particular UI developer, considering that HTML, taking with the CSS, JavaScript, Node.js, all these things will come under UI developer. That means according to the IT industry, UI development, UI developer, that is one job role, that is one team. That particular development team, these particular UI developer, these particular team taking care about in designing application layer. Nothing but that particular UI development team. They will design all these UI of the application, like the image in the proper size, button, and then label, text boxes, whatever it can be. According to that particular application, all UI design, meaning of UI, user interface. That particular UI design has been taken care by UI developer. That is how in the IT industry, UI development is one particular job role. That particular development team is totally different. Now, this particular UI development team, they will design only UI. They will complete the activity. Now, these particular UI team taking care about in designing username text box, password text box, and the button they given. Now assume that if I enter valid username and valid password, click on login button. What is the expected result? If I enter valid username and valid password and click on login button, what is the expected result? That login should be successful. Assume that if I enter invalid username and invalid password, what is the result? What is the result? Error message should be displayed. That means if I am entering username and password, either I entered valid credentials or invalid credentials, somebody they have to cross check that either I entered valid credentials or invalid credentials. According to the valid, it has to give the result. According to the invalid, it has to give the result. That means certain condition need to be done there. Some kind of validation need to be done. Once I click on login button in the back end, this login button, that logic need to be get cross-checked that this data. Nothing but some logic to be done there. So that particular logic has been taken care by business layer, or consider that logic layer. This business layer developing by programming developer. If I'm taking with this particular business layer or taking with the logic layer, taking care by programming developer. Application layer taking care by UI developer. The team is totally different. Business layer taking care by programming developer. So that programming, that logic need to be done. So that logic taking care by which language? That is what Java or taking with Python or taking with .NET. All that particular programming languages, all that particular programming languages. To see the whole IT concept, see the whole IT industry, application layer taken care by UI developer. Their job role, designing the UI, their work completed. Then you got business layer taken care by programming developer. So this particular programming developer, they need to write some logics. They have to write the conditions. They have to write the loops. They have to write the code validating the data. According to that, that result need to be get provided. So all that particular logic taken care by the programming developer who has been learning Java or .NET or Python, all these particular people will take care about in doing that particular activity. So now, according to the real time, according to the real time, UI developer, totally different team. Programming developer, totally different team here. Now, according to our application, as an example, we are taking care about adding new employee, entering first name and entering last name, and click on save. Once we click on save, that particular details we are able to see under employee list. Whatever first name and last name we got entered, that particular details we are able to see under employee list. To display here, first once I click on save, once I click on the save button, that first name and last name need to save in the database. Whatever the data we got enter, whatever the data we got enter, that particular data need to save in the database. So that particular database, considering that database developer, database developer, nothing but what are those things? That is what you will be taking with Oracle, that Hadoop, SQL, SQL Server, Big Data, lot of things are there. In the current market related to database also, lot of things are there. These particular database developer, database developer, they will take care about in designing different type of tables here. According to that project, according to that particular project, they will take care about. According to that project, they will take care about in designing different type of tables here. Once I got created different type of tables, the respective data will get saved in that particular tables here. That is how you require UI developer, programming developer, database developer. UI developer taking care about application layer, programming developer taking care about business layer, and database developer taking care about database layer. So when you are working in the real time, when you are working in that particular real time, you will take care about UI developer, totally different team. That business layer, totally different team. And then database layer has been totally different team here. Not like all the people are same. Everyone developer only, but their job role is totally different. That is how, if you just look into the job openings, you will be able to see different type of job openings with the respective of developers here. So now, taking care about combine all these things here. Taking care about combine of all these particular things. That means that particular UI developer, programming developer, and then taking with database developer. That is what you will be considering the full stack developer. So that is how nowadays you will be able to see some job openings related to full stack developer. As simple, if we just open Naresh IT website, you will able to see all these things here. You can cross check that in the Naresh IT website. UI developer, different training program, programming developer, different training program, database developer, totally different training program. Combine all these things, you got full stack developer also. This is how the market has been started by taking with this particular IT industry here. So if I'm taking with IT companies, this is how it will be taking with in having different type of taking with these particular respective developers and respective teams, and they will be having different job roles here. This whole thing with the respective of development team. But our main target, testing. When it's come to testing, what need to be done? When it's come to testing, what need to be done? See the understanding. As simple, application layer taking care by UI developer. As that application layer has been developed, we need to take care about to test application layer. For testing, for doing testing of, for doing testing of, right, see that. So if I'm taking with this particular application layer, we have to take care about to test application layer. For testing with application layer, we will be taking with functionality testing, or you can consider that functional tester to take care about application layer, to test application layer, you are taking care about in doing with functional testing. You have been taking care about to test each and every particular functionality. That means text box working, checkbox working, button is working, page has been displayed, navigating to the next page, nothing but till now, whatever the training program you done related to application layer, nothing but functionality testing. That is what you done. You are adapting application, online banking, or HRMS application, anything. You entered URL, application visible is there. You are entering the data. You are performing some action and doing with the testing. Particular functionality working or not. You are testing that. In simple, to confirm that application layer working or not. Taking care about what kind of testing? Functionality testing, or we can say that functional testing. In the same way, you got business layer or logic layer. See the name. It is clearly mentioned that business layer or logic layer. So in this particular system, the server, there is no UI. As simple, you guys has been able, you are able to see this web page. This application is visible. But are you guys able to see the server? Is that you are able to see the server? Is that you are able to see the code available in the server? No, you don't have that visibility. You are not able to see that. What is the code available in the server? We are not worried about on that. But as a tester, we have to take care about that logic, the logic or the code available in the server working correctly or not. For that, how you can communicate for the server. Functionality, okay. That is UI is visible, you will test it. But server, the server is not visible, even the logic not visible. Then how we can take care about to test that business layer or logic layer? That is what you are taking care about. You are doing the testing by sending the request to server and then getting the response from server. That is what? Nothing but concept of API testing. That is how your API testing has been came into the picture. With the help of API, we can confirm, we can test that the logic working correctly or not. As simple, we can confirm that business layer or logic layer working correctly or not. As simple, confirming application layer working correctly or not. What kind of testing? Functionality testing. To confirm business layer, logic layer. What kind of testing? What is it? API testing. In the same way, you got database layer. You got database layer. To confirm that database layer working correctly or not. Nothing but data saved in tables. Confirming database layer working correctly or not. You have to take care about data saved in proper table or not. That means if I want to confirm that functionality working correctly or not, I'm able to perform some action. to confirm that functionality testing, I'm able to perform some action there. I mean, I'm entering the data, clicking on the button. We are able to perform some action. By that, we can confirm that particular application layer working correctly or not. In case of business layer or logic layer, I'm able to send the request and then getting with response. With the help of sending with the request and getting the response, I can confirm my business layer or logic layer working correctly or not. In the same way, I need to confirm the database layer. Nothing but I need to confirm data saved in table. So how I can confirm data has been saved in proper table? To confirm that data has been saved in the table or not. For that, I need to connect database. Once I connect the database, lot of tables will be there. From the tables, from the tables, I have to take care about retrieve data. So how I can confirm data has been saved in the table or not? I can retrieve the data. Once I retrieve, I will get one result. In the result, if I'm able to see the data, then I can confirm my data has been saved in database. To retrieve the data, how we were doing. That is what you are taking care about SQL. Nothing but you have been taking care about queries. That particular query is nothing but you will be taking with SQL. Full form of SQL. What is it? Structured query language. It is clearly mentioning that it is query language. You are writing some queries and then retrieving the data from the database. That is how the testers has been required database knowledge. Not like into the expertise, not like into the expertise, and then not like equal to database developer. Just you guys need to be get comfortable. You guys need to be get comfortable in taking care about. You have to take care about in retrieving the data from the table by writing that particular respective query statement. To write the queries, you have to understand the syntax of SQL here. So that is how testers has been required the basic knowledge of SQL here. Now we can say that to test application layer, what kind of testing? Functionality testing. To test business layer, so this is how different type of testings has been came into the market. But any testing, your concepts are same. Whatever the testing you want to do, your concepts will be the same. Just need to be get aware of that. How we got different types of testings here. We got functional testing, API testing, database testing, and then combine of all these things. Combine of all these things, you will be taking care about. You will be taking care about performance testing. Combine of all these things, you will take care about performance testing. That particular performance testing, that particular performance testing, considering the page load time. So as part of performance testing, you have to take care about, you need to test that how much time it was taking to load that particular page. So how much time it was taking to load that particular page, that you have to take care about, that you need to take care about that particular respective performance testing. Sometimes if required in some of the projects, it may go with after performance testing, after performance testing, it will go with security testing here. So this is how nowadays in a market different type of testings has been introduced. But for all these things, your main target functional testing. As a tester, if you get in a comfortable as a functional tester, very easily you can take care about any of other testings here. So simple, if I'm taking with these particular functional testing, what exactly the steps you are doing, the similar thing you will take care about while doing with any of the testings here. When you are working in the real time, functional testing, totally different team. API testing, totally different team. Database testing, different team will be there. And performance testing, totally different team. And then security testing also, totally different team will be there. Not like only one tester or only one person can take care about all these particular testings here. According to real-time standards, 95% of the time, 95% of the time, they will maintain different teams. Some companies will be there. They will maintain different companies also. As an example, functional testing, one company will do. That performance testing, another company will be doing. It's totally depends on that particular clients. According to the real time, 95% of the time, 95% of the time, all the teams are different. But as part of interviews, for the interview purpose, you have to take care about all the things here. As part of interview, to get that particular interview calls, you have to take care about all these particular things here. So in case, at least for the interview purpose, if you are comfortable in explaining, definitely that will help you to get clear with interview. Combine of all these particular things, you can consider that taking with full stack tester. That is how sometimes you may heard about the terminology full stack tester. So combine of the person taking care about all these particular things, you can take care about the full stack tester. So according to real time, each and every tester totally different. Different testers will be there. They will get in a different salaries. No, sir, I require more salary. I'm expecting 1 lakh per month. Then what do you have to do? You have to take care about all these testings here. For the interviewer, if you are giving the impression that you are comfortable to take care about in doing all these particular testing, then you can definitely expect with the more salaries here. So it will depends on you are comfortable how you can get impressed that particular interviewer. So that is what we are taking functional testing, API testing, and taking with database testing, and then taking with performance testing. Nowadays, sometime you may heard about security testing also. Some of the job openings you may see that related to only security testing, nothing but you may heard about the terminology. The terminology is, what is it? Pen testing. That particular pen testing is nothing but your security testing. Pen testing means not your regular pen. That is a different. Pen testing related to the security testing, or else some people may heard about penetration testing. You may heard about penetration testing. That particular penetration testing related to security testing, mainly the training program of ethical hacking. How about it? Uh, Ethical hacking, nothing but your understanding, cyber security. So if we take with that particular cyber security, that particular ethical hacking, those people nowadays, they are taking care about in coming up with making in a different testing. Slowly, the market changes will be there. Previously, that particular cyber security people, those people only taking care about the development activities and testing activities. But now, because of that market demand, changes in the technology, slowly it has been divided into two things here. That cyber security developer as a different and tester as a different. So that particular tester only we can call as pen testing, or we can consider that penetration testing. But any kind of testings, the concepts will be the same. Just you have to take care about, aware of some of the terminologies here. Just at least for to clear the interview, you have to take care about it. Only to just clear with the interview, you have to take care about these many things here. Once you clear the interview, once you got a testing job in the real time, what you will do? In the real time, what you will do? Opening the Excel file and then writing the test cases. This much of hard work you done also. Once you got in a job, once you got in a job, 95% of the time you will be working on Excel file. Manual testing you will work. Most of the time, that manual testing, no, sir. You don't have an option. You don't have an option that a very rare cases directly you can align it to automation testing. Until unless you are more lucky, you will be getting automation project. Otherwise, manual only. By default, manual will be there here. That is what the people will do. All these things for your knowledge and to get clear with the interview and to survive your job role here. The reason you have to take care about is once you got in a job, it will work on manual testing only. But to get survive in the IT, you have to take care about all these particular knowledge. Automation testing also mandatory here. Manual easy, automation easy. Mhm. Automation easy, manual easy. Both are easy. Uh-huh. Okay. That will decide in the last day of your training program. Uh, Which is easy will decide in the last day. Okay. Okay. So if I'm taking with this is what the concept of testing. Now, previously we done with application layer, functionality testing is done. Now, what we have to do? API testing. We need to test that business layer. To test that business layer, we have to take care about API testing. But if you want to do API testing, how we can do the API testing? How we can do API testing? By sending with the request and response. So if we want to send that request, if we want to get the response for sending with the request and then getting with the response, your URL will be playing with a very important role. While working with API testing, while working with API testing, your URL will be playing with a very important role. Need to be get understand some terminologies related to URL. Let's take care about all that particular terminologies. If I'm taking with the one terminology, we can say that URL. Another terminology, URI. One terminology is URL, another one URI. Full form of URL, URL. Yeah. Full form of URL. URL full form, guys. Automation. Uh, Uniform resource locator, or we can consider unique resource locator. If I'm taking with URL, we can say that uniform resource locator, unique resource locator. In the same way, you will be taking with URI. Meaning of URI? Unique, that I interface, that particular I, uniform resource interface, that particular I, we can say that uniform resource interface, that particular URL, we got two types. How many types? Two types. What is that? That particular two types. One is base URL. Another one, absolute URL. One is base URL. Another one, absolute URL. If I'm taking with this particular URL, we got two types here. One is base URL. Another one, absolute URL. Meaning of base URL, which is constant. The meaning of base URL, which is constant. Meaning of absolute URL, the whole URL. One will be taking with base URL, and then you will be taking with absolute URL. Base URL you will be taking with which is constant. Absolute URL you will be taking with the whole URL. Now, whenever you are taking with these particular URLs, you have to take care about different terminologies. In that, the one is HTTP. Another one, HTTPS. Meaning of S, meaning of HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. And the meaning of S, not software, secured, security. If I'm taking with that particular HTTPS, considering the secured, in the same way, you need to begin understand that taking with question mark symbol. After that, taking with Q. And after that, taking with and, taking with equal to. So whenever you are taking with this particular URL, you have to take care about these things here. One is HTTP, another one HTTPS, and then question mark symbol. Meaning of question mark symbol in the URL. Search query. The meaning of question mark symbol in the URL, the meaning of question mark, we can say that search query. And then Q symbol, Q letter, the meaning of Q, search parameter, the meaning of Q, search parameter, search parameter. And then and symbol, as simple combination, and symbol, combination, equal symbol, assigning, equal symbol, assigning. Question mark is search query, Q symbol, search parameter, and symbol, combination, equal symbol, assigning. So whenever you are taking care about referring with the URLs, you need to take care about these particular things. Just an example, if we consider that this is one particular URL. In the same way, if I'm just taking care about this particular URL, if I'm just taking care about this particular URL, I can say that. So if I'm just taking care about these particular URLs here, if I'm taking with this particular one, now we can see that if you refer any URL, you will be able to see some constant one. In the URL, the constant one, consider as base URL. You can refer any URL. You can refer any URL. In the any URL, constant one, you can consider that taking with, that particular base URL. And the whole URL, what will consider? Absolute URL. Now we can say that in this absolute URL or URL, able to see the question mark symbol. Meaning of the question mark, what is it? Search query. We are informing to the server to take with search activity. Having the queue, meaning of the queue, search parameter, meaning of equal to, taking with, assigning, and then taking with, and the symbol, taking with, combination. That means with the help of URL, you are sending the request. With the help of URL, you are getting the response. by taking with that particular request and response, we need to be get take care about, we need to be get take care about in doing that particular respective API testing. So whenever you are taking care about API testing, you need to be get take care about in doing this particular respective API testing by taking with that particular respective URL. Now we need to take care about this API testing. Again, any kind of testing, you can go with manual testing and you can go with automation testing. Any kind of testing, you can go with manual testing and then we can take care about that particular respective automation testing. Now, as part of our requirement, again, we are taking care about manual testing and then taking with that particular respective automation testing. So further, as part of manual testing, as usual, you need to be get take care about in writing with that particular respective test scenarios and then taking care about test cases. Most of the time, directly we can take care about that particular respective test cases. Just I'm providing this particular template, this particular test case template, this particular test case template I'm just providing in your respective Google Classroom. So in your respective Google Classroom, I'm just providing that particular template. Just take care about download that particular template. See that how you can try. See that how you can try writing with the test cases related to API testing. You got that particular test case template. Test case template is there. You are already having with requirement document related API. You are already having that particular requirement document also there. And then you got that application URL. Yesterday given application URL. Refer SRS document and then refer this particular test case template and then take care about that particular application of URL. Just try to come up with some test cases. Tomorrow you will get in a very clear picture related to that particular API testing of manual. That manual will go with Postman and after that will be taking with rest assured as automation. Manual testing, automation testing, all the concepts you're already knowing, but with the respective of API, what are the steps need to be done? With the respective of API, what are all that particular steps need to be done? That you need to be get. Look into that. So take care about all that particular things will do. Those are very small things here that will take care about it. So tomorrow we'll go with that API testing using Postman and then we'll take care about rest assured. After that, we'll come up with database and finally performance here. All are very small things here. Just will understand how we can take care about all that particular steps need to be done. So tomorrow we'll take care about it. Tomorrow morning, exam. You already got URL.